Few, if any, states have felt the full force of this recession as intensely as Nevada. Foreclosures in the state lead the nation and have for some time, and unemployment there is at an all-time high. Because of this, much of the attention in recent weeks and months has understandably been devoted to job security. But that's only half the story. We must also pay attention to safety and security on the job. That's why I'm very happy that the United States Department of Labor Occupational Safety and Health Administration has reviewed and will continue to review troublesome violations and other concerns in Nevada's workplaces. And it's why I'm happy to be here today to do what I can to give information that will make this committee determine what the future should be. The famous Las Vegas Strip has recently seen $32 billion in building booms up and down the Strip. Coming back here, at one job site, City Center, I counted one day 28 cranes on just the one job site. But something else was going up along with the hotels and casinos, and that's the unnecessary deaths of construction workers. 12 working men and women died in just 18 months. Those tragedies represent just under half of all the workplace deaths in Las Vegas during that period. Elsewhere in the city, 13 other workers died equally tragic and equally preventable deaths. The men and women who have made Las Vegas into the fast-growing city it is today, who have made the Las Vegas Strip the entertainment capital of the world, are professionals who are both capable in their respective trades and cognizant of the dangers they face. They deserve better than Nevada OSHA's indifference to their health and safety. When a construction worker's day includes climbing on iron structures hundreds of feet into the air under intense heat and high winds, or a maintenance worker having to climb down into a manhole, his or her job is hard enough. That worker should not also have to worry about whether the state agencies, whose sole purpose is ensuring his or her safety, is doing their job also. But that is exactly what I'm worried about. As you know, Nevada is one of 27 states and territories that operate its own health and safety enforcement program. Unfortunately, though, Nevada's OSHA failed too many times to enforce workplace safety. In some cases, it simply failed to act. In others, it acted improperly or poorly. Its carelessness created an environment that allowed dangerous conditions to persist and put Nevadans' lives at risk. The federal OSHA review found many patterns of this kind of negligence. A citation for a willful violation carries significantly higher penalties to punish employers who flout the law and endanger employees. Regrettably, they happen, willful violations. But Nevada's workplace safety program discouraged these citations, issuing only one willful violation in the 18-month period that was reviewed. The program also failed to cite glaring repeat violations, which would have flagged persistent problems and led to proper remedies that could have saved lives. For example, 2 men were killed at the Orleans Hotel and Casino, and a third was severely injured after they were directed to enter a poorly ventilated grease pit filled with toxic fumes. It wasn't the first time the property owners had been found responsible for similar conditions and hazards. But Nevada OSHA did not act. Terrible mistakes were repeated, and Travis Kohler and Richard Lazier died. I met earlier today with Travis's mother, Debbie. She'll testify before you later today. She has with her a picture of her boy. Over a 6-year period, Nevada OSHA also consistently failed to report serious violations. Federal OSHA classified more than 3 out of every 4 violations as serious ones, and state plans did so for nearly half of theirs, but Nevada OSHA reported less than 1/3 of their breaches as serious. Finally, the state agency failed to notify a victim's family that it was investigating their loved one's death in almost half the fatalities in Nevada workplaces during the time that OSHA had the review. This record is simply, Mr. President, unacceptable and not defensible. Each one of these deaths is tragic, and while accidents happen, each one could have been prevented. It's not unreasonable to demand that the agency dedicated to worker safety doesn't look the other way. Federal OSHA and this committee are correct to hold the state agency accountable for its violations of the law and the public trust. I'll continue to support your efforts on the federal level by directing my staff to remain in contact with the Director of Nevada OSHA, as my office did for Debbie Kohler-Fergan, who you will hear from later. I'll also continue to support any Nevadan who issues a complaint about the state program. I'll continue to work with my colleagues in the Senate and those here in the House to ensure federal OSHA gets the funding it needs to ensure Americans work in safe places. And I'll not hesitate to call for further action if Nevada OSHA fails to act on this report's recommendations. As our economy recovers, it's not enough merely to ensure Nevadans and all Americans can have a good job to go to every morning, which not everyone has today, but we must also make sure that they can safely come home from that job every night. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.